All right, so now we are ready to create our images, and I'm using another color layer stamp set. This one is a cardinal. The cool thing about the cardinal is you can change the color to blue tones and you can make it into a blue jay, which is something that I love about really anything that's cardinal themed. Is super easy to turn it into a blue jay. So the very first color that I am stamping with is Worn Lipstick. It's a light pink, which is kind of an odd color to stamp with something that's so red, but it's really only these little tiny bits that are going to be this color. So once I am done stamping, I'm just taking a little baby wipe just to quickly clean my stamp so that I put it back in my package clean. Next one. So I love these color layer stamps. They're perfect for people that don't necessarily love coloring in images. And these clear stamps make it very easy to match, put that away, to match the image of the stamp. So I have my paper in my positioner, but I just have it stuck to the far or the bottom left corner. I don't need to actually hold it with magnets, simply because when it's in that corner, if it lifts up when I stamp, I can just put it right back in that corner. So that one is done. Once again, cleaning off the stamp in between. And I typically go back and I clean them off a little bit better, but this way I'm not getting ink on my hands, or at the minimum, I'm not getting as much ink on my hands. The nice thing too about these images is they're very easy to cut out. When they first came out, there was dies for them. So I do have dies for some of my color layer stamps. But if you don't have dies, the shapes of them are really easy to cut out. And we do need to cut them out for this card because we're going to layer all these different pieces to create the image on our card front. So that last one there was Aged Mahogany. The red is Festive Berries. These will be listed on your supply list, so you don't have to remember them. And then the last stamp for this particular image is the face of the cardinal. Let's get our paper positioned properly. There we go. So I'm going to stamp all my images first, and then I will cut them out all at one time. There we go. Our cardinal there is done. Put that back there. Tuck that to the side for a moment. Next one I'm going to do is the leaves for this card. I'm going to do these two colors here. And I'm going to use this same piece of paper. Because all of this is being cut, I might as well use up as much of the paper as possible. So the leaves are right in the poinsettia set. The poinsettias we're going to do next, but we've got lots of space here to do the leaves. The poinsettias on a different piece of paper. And I'm going to do both leaves. Make sure you put your stamps correct way. They have a little bit of a bevel in them, and the wider part is the part that goes on your stamp platform or your acrylic block. The smaller part is the part that stamps. All right, so I'm tapping my ink on there. And this particular color, well, this particular stamp's a little bit blotchy, but it's only for the base color, and it often will even out as it's drying. So you'll see I'm just turning a quarter turn, so I'm getting these stamps in each of the corners because I want multiple sets of this particular one. There we go. Now these leaves only actually have 2 layers to them. That's why I only have 2 colors. So I'm grabbing the next layer. And if I match them with one, they will match with all of the other ones. There we go. Put that in the corner so that it's in the right spot. Now I'm going to use my darker green. Turn it a quarter turn. I'm the type of person that I actually do really love coloring. I love watercoloring and I love coloring, but I still love these color layer stamps just for something a little bit different. And they're super easy to use. All right, to clean that one off, I don't think I cleaned those guys off. Put that back in the package. Now we're gonna tuck this to the side, let that dry while we're doing our poinsettias. Grab another piece of paper, and I'm doing 2 poinsettias here. So I've got plenty of room on this one piece of paper here for those. Let's grab the 2 colors we're needing. There's 3 layers to the poinsettia, but we're only using 2 of the colors. And you'll see why in just a moment. There we go. So the first color we're gonna put down is the Festive Berries, which is our red color, and it's the same red color I used for the Cardinal. But we're gonna create a bit of a different texture with this one, and I'll show you how in a moment. So this one, instead of just turning it a quarter turn, I turned it a full turn, so it's stamping on the opposite side of the paper. There we go. Clean the stamp off. Put it back in the package. Now the next one, I'm going to match the stamp, but I'm not going to stamp quite yet. I need to heat set the ink that I have here. All right, so that is matched. So in order to create a different texture or a different look for the poinsettias than the Cardinal, I thought if it was all stamped in the same colors, it would kind of look like a big blob of red, basically. We're going to add some Perfect Pearls. So before we add Perfect Pearls, we need to heat set the ink that is there, because if I go to stamp this one and add Perfect Pearls, they're just going to stick to everything. So I'm using a heat tool to do this. If you had the time, you could just let it completely dry naturally, but this is just a quicker way of doing it. So I've got my stamp already there. I'm going to use some Versamark ink, which is a nice sticky ink. I'm going to stamp both of the poinsettias. Make sure that paper's in that corner so it's matched up. There we go. And then repeat on this other poinsettia. There we go. So now I've got some scrap paper here. I've got just some Perfect Pearls, just the pearl color. Now, if you wanted, you could use a different color. There's different reds and stuff like that. You could use those for this. That would work. I wanted this poinsettia to be just a little bit lighter, a little bit different texture from the Cardinal. Just kind of set it apart. So once you've got your completed stamp surface with the Perfect Pearls, your best friend with Perfect Pearls is a Swiffer cloth, just the refill cloth. You don't need the handle for it. And what this does is it takes off the excess powder that is around the stamped image. Now, Perfect Pearls, if you haven't used them before, they have a binding agent in them that is activated with water. So I've got a spray bottle here with water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly mist this, and then I need to let it dry completely. We don't want to make it really, really wet because the ink underneath is going to start to run. So we're just lightly misting it. And then I like to kind of wave it sometimes just to start drying that ink. If you get a little bit of running, that is okay. I'm going to set this aside to dry for a few minutes till it's completely dry, and I'll be back to do the last stamping.